What's going on, everybody? I got more supernatural stories to tell you. I got saved at 18 years old. That's when I first got filled with the Holy Spirit. And once I got filled with the Holy Spirit, the Lord was telling me to move to Ohio because I lived in a place called Laredo, Texas at the time. And I didn't really want to do it. I did it. I didn't know where I was going to end up if I went to Ohio, so I was just following the Lord's voice. And long story short, they put me on a plane. My aunt and uncle, which were my foster parents, they didn't want me anymore, and they're like, okay, you're going to Ohio. And so they put me on a plane going to Ohio. The Lord was telling me to speak to somebody on the plane, and the Lord was telling me that he's a believer, the guy sitting next to me. So I open up my mouth and I ask him, hey, do you believe in Jesus Christ? He's like, yeah, I'm a pastor, such and such. And I'm like, cool, Lord. Well, that's just proof right there that God speaks to people. And I spoke with him for about 30 minutes and gave him my testimony, what I was going through and how God changed me and how he was real and so on. And then the Lord told me once I got to the North Carolina airport that I was going to find a meal. Now, I didn't know what the Lord was talking about because I barely had any money. I'm 18 years old. I'm going homeless. I'm being moved to Ohio. And this will forever remain in my heart. This will forever be in my heart, this memory right here. I was wondering how I was going to find a meal at the North Carolina airport. Was I going to find it in a garbage can? Was I going to be eating crumbs off the floor? How was this possible? So I'm talking to this lady and I'm telling her everything I'm going through and how my aunt and uncle don't want me anymore and I'm staying strong with God and so on. And the lady, she offered to buy me a meal. And I turned it down. I'm trying to be nice, I'm 18 years old and I'm trying to be nice. And I'm like, no. And I hear the Lord tell me, he's like, dude, this is the meal I promised you. Say yes. And I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and get the meal. And at that point, I started crying. And I was crying because I wasn't scared, but I was crying over the fact of, man, this really is real. God really does love me, man. The creator of it all, the universe, is talking to me and blessing me with all this stuff. It's just crazy. And I remember wondering what was going to happen once I got to Ohio. Who's going to pick me up? Where am I going to end up? I mean, none of my family members want to deal with me because they think I'm some rebellious 18-year-old who's going to act up. And I remember the Lord telling me in the car on my way to the airport when I was leaving Texas, and my uncle's making a big deal saying, nobody's going to pick you up, this and that. You better get your life together real quick. And the Lord's just telling me, he's like, don't listen to them. Your grandparents are going to pick you up. Don't listen to them. So I get to Ohio, or I'm going to end up at my grandparents' house. That's what the Lord said. Don't listen to them. You're going to end up in your grandparents' house. So long story short, I get to my final destination from North Carolina to Ohio. My mom picks me up, and guess what? I end up in my grandparents' house, just like the Lord said would happen. So it's a pretty crazy story on how God speaks to people, and this memory has never left my head. Sure, I may be backslidden sometimes, and sure, I may not be following God like I should be, but that memory right there will forever stay in my heart because I cried my eyes out that day at the North Carolina airport. I was so touched. I really was. And I will never forget what God has done for me. My younger years with God were so beautiful. I was so pure. I was so innocent. So innocent. I miss those days. And those memories will forever stay with me. If it wasn't for those beautiful memories, I don't know if I would still be here today serving God. If I didn't get saved at a young age, I don't even know if I would even believe in the gospel, even if somebody told it to me. I'm so thankful. And these are just more examples that God does speak to people. So God bless you all. Thank you all for watching. I tried to keep this as short as I can. And I will see you all later.